research and treatises and all that stuff. All right, how's it going, everyone? This is everyone's favorite Draconic Saberwolf on the internet, and we are looking at a triple threat today. This one is one that came across. Shout out to Lord Diaz, who was supplying us with the PWR content. And we kind of have a weird triple banger here, which is we did RTU and we did PWR and we do a lot of DSP. These are kind of all three combined. Now, it's talking about DSP, but apparently PWR called into Review Tech USA's show to glaze DSP, and this is around the same time that he lost his kick channel because PWR was doing cocaine on stream, which is a bold move. And yeah, so we're gonna kind of see what happened here. I wasn't gonna do anything with the PWR crash out because it's just him being crazy, but this one features like all three. I had to go do it. So let's get it started. So this
Hello?
is Hot Young Dude here. How are you?
How are you doing, bro? How are you doing tonight, bro? It's Friday night. What's up, man?
I'm doing all right, living the dream. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Listen, I am watching Shawn Michaels. I am watching Undertaker, and I am just chilling out with my audience. How are you doing, man? Talk. Let's have a quick conversation here.
Okay, I'm ready to have a quick conversation with you.
So Zern says, back to our regularly scheduled assholes. Yes. So this kind of like the fact that this is clearly not something that RTU planned. Or if he did, he is acting far better than he can usually act. And from what I saw of the other stream with PWR, again, I didn't watch too much of it, but he's kind of going crazy and he's still losing his viewership. So I'm wondering if this is an attempt to try and regain some of that relevancy, because there was another point in a different stream where PWR said that he is now willing to work with the Kino Casino again, which is kind of strange considering he says they are the source of his career being ruined. I don't know if he'll say in this one. I'm kind of doing this one blind, but we'll see.
What's going on? I'm actually, you know what's crazy? I'm actually streaming too.
Listen, I want to ask you a quick question here, because we're like, okay, I'm an original era dude. You're an original, man. You fucking paved the way. You made a career. You did your thing. Honestly, man, I was the fucking guy in the bed watching like Angry Nerd and DSP when you were doing your thing. But we're talking about DSP here. We're talking about Phil. We both love Phil. We're both fans of Phil. I have been.
RTU is not a fan of Phil. RTU tries to make his bag off Phil. I don't think he... Well, it's weird because he has a tattoo of Phil. Well, he has a tattoo of Phil's O face, which is a very mixed signal when it comes to where someone is on a relationship scale. And Zern says, going crazy, that shit is gone. Very true. And I think, I don't know, his crash out's going... See, there's no worse thing than to taste fame and then have it yanked away from you. And now they lost relevancy with the Kino Casino and all that, and the tractors. I've seen a couple of his stats. I mean, PWR is in the tank. So, like, he is losing his viewership. He's losing... I don't know if he's losing sponsorships, but his career is on a rapid decline, which is unfortunate, which is why he did the whole rebranding to the anti-abuse thing. Now that's not working. Now it sounds like he might be trying to get back into the Kino Casino or into maybe even DSP himself, even though DSP has banned him. Knight says, what the fuck? Are you talking about the tattoo? That's like deep lore for RTU. Apparently he like wanted he got his subs to be like, if I get 100 subs, I get a tattoo of Phil on his ass. And he got a bunch of subs. I don't know if he got the goal. I think he got the goal, but then he kind of backed away and said, "Oh, I'll just get like a little bit of Phil on my arm." So if he ever takes off his shirt, which he does apparently all the fucking time, you'll see like a tattoo, a Castlevania tattoo. The bat thing, that's Phil's O face, which I don't know how that owns Phil. Kind of feels like the other way around, but you know, you do you.
I'm a fan of fucking Phil since 2011, man. You're a fan of Phil. Just admit it, honestly.
I'm a fan. Yes, no, I'm a fan of Phil. I won't even hide that I'm a fan of Phil. I'm a fan of Phil for the reasons he doesn't want me to be a fan, but nonetheless, yeah. So yes.
I get that. That's 100% true. I just want to ask you, man, cause you have, and I'm not sucking your cock. I am like, man, you have had a successful career. You have made the money on the YouTube, going with that original RTU reviews and stuff. When did you first find Phil? Like, when did he first get on your radar? Like, when did you?
All right, I'll give you the one.
So we're going to get into, I think we're going to get into some very old lore here with the spat between like RTU and DSP, which is another reason why I found it fine to like do this part, because like from what it sounds like, it's a lot of like, oh hey, you know, this is why I hate Phil, and our PWR is like, well, I love Phil and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe PWR is trying to like either use RTU to get back into Phil's good graces, or maybe he is trying to team up with RTU to get back at Phil, but he loves Phil. I don't know. Like, it's kind of weird that he'd be calling RTU, unless he's trying to like take down RTU, and he just did with a phone call. We'll see.
Remember, I don't know how old you are. Remember the whole SOPA and Pippa?
I'm 35, bro.
Okay.
Ooh, that's sad.
Remember how like SOPA and Pippa, those were like internet bills that would have really screwed over YouTube? Phil's video on that got a bunch of views. And I found Phil, and at the time I didn't know Phil was a fucking lunatic, so I was like, all right, cool. This guy's advocating for those bills are terrible. He's letting people know about them. When I didn't realize Phil was Phil until I guess 20.
I mean, to be fair, those bills are terrible, or they were terrible.
2014.
2014, dude. Listen to this. So I was literally like, you know, in a shitty like life situation, man, and I found Phil, and I was like, this guy's giving me comfort.
Here's the other thing, and now that I'm definitely glad I'm playing this, you kind of see in the mind of a Phil Dent. We're getting kind of a cross section of what Phil fans have to be thinking. It's a warm. He's talking like finding Phil is like finding God. It's a lot of the same beats, you know. Oh, I found comfort in Phil. That's some cult ass shit, you know. In my opinion, it's that is not good. You should never think of another person like that hard. Well, I kind of think of my wife that way, but like as far as like strangers on the internet, you should definitely not be thinking. That's how you get the Manson murders, you know?
Like, oh my God, this guy is cool. You know, this guy is playing New Vegas. You know, this guy is like playing the new releases he's playing. And like, I'm just trying to remind these fucking Gen Z broccoli cuts, bro, that like, at one point did have fucking relevancy, man. He like
Gen Z broccoli cuts. I will give him this. I've heard broccoli cut before, but yeah. Zern says, found Phil comfort. That explains so much. I absolutely hate institution, but maybe he needs to go back, right? Like, ooh, man. When people start talking like that, you gotta now you gotta start thinking of, mental health and welfare.
The dude has made fucking money off the YouTube. Regardless of what these fucking duty streams with casino, whatever they want to paint him as. Just
Well,
RTU.
I don't know if they're painting.
Let me know that dude, you've been a success in dude. Let me know that at one point he was relevant.
Well, yeah.
Fucking, okay, that's probably the first time I've ever seen like RTU and it made me laugh. He's like, was just latched right onto that. That was pretty good. I like that. But no one is really saying that Phil wasn't like successful. He was 10 to 15 years ago because he was first. He literally paved the way for like game streams, like gameplay streams of like playthroughs of entire games, stuff like that. It wasn't revolutionary in any stretch of the imagination. He flooded YouTube with a whole lot of videos, and that hadn't been done before. And everyone's like, wow, he kind of invented mediocre gameplay vids. Like, good job. But he was making money. He was making quite a bit of money. He still makes a bit of money. No one's saying that. It's just he is a terrible person, and no one really likes him. And he's on the downswing of all downswings. And yeah, and he's, he was racist and he was a lot of things. The King of Hate is not just a moniker that he picked up out of nowhere. He's the King of Hate for a reason. So even like back in the day when he was successful, he kind of also wasn't. So, but he had money. And if that's the only benchmark you go off of, then, that's your prerogative.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's questioning that, dude. Yeah, he was relevant, but as much as I hate Kino Casino, Lord knows, but their takes on him are accurate. Like, yes, he was relevant at one point. He was, but he squandered all of his shit, going all the way back to when he would fight his audience to even stop using a fucking camera to film his videos.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's his deep lore. I don't know as much about. Only what I know from like the June the King documentary. Oh, Zern says Phil paved the mediocre road for the talented and charismatic. Exactly. He showed what could be done, and everyone else took it and ran with it. It's why he's not doing as well right now. He's going up against talented, charismatic people, and it's shifted to a community focus instead of a gameplay focus, and he's just an unlikable tit. So, but, what Rich says about the, things with all of what the relevancy and things like that, that's true. He is still somewhat successful monetarily, but it's by two whales. He is not relevant. No one listens to Phil anymore. No one is clicking in like, oh, what's Phil's take on this? He is an irrelevant shell or a ghost of his former self, of his former career. And he just kind of haunts YouTube, and occasionally people give him money to either make him go away or to jingle the chains a little.
And that is fucking crazy to think about. The fact that he was so far behind on the modern landscape that which, you and myself do now is fucking crazy. But the fact is, man, like the fact that he had such a built-in audience and was unable to transition to what the people wanted at the time. I mean, Rich, like, when were you? Because you did the original. I watched the documentary. You know what the truth is, man? Okay. I do give you respect because out of everybody I've dealt with, you actually did call in and we had a little back and forth. But I did my research, and regardless of what people say, they want to say this shit like you blinded your daughter and all this shit. Find any fucking.
Oh, yeah, look at that face. So, Yeah, one thing. Oh, Zern says, I hate Phil, but look at the way he presents is 60% of his success. Yeah, like a great presentation can make up for mediocre content. Look at most kids' YouTube, stuff like that. Also, with PWR bringing up like the stuff with his kids and things like that, which obviously you know me, I don't, when I do stuff like this, it's always the man I'm saying. I don't, for DSP, I don't go after Kat. Personally, I don't think Kat deserves it. Some people think she does. She's not the focus of my ire. Therefore, I'm not going to use her to attack Phil. That's shitty. But a lot of people, so for RTU, that's his kids and his wife to a lesser extent. People attack RTU's kids, and the thing is, he takes the bait every single time and says, "Oh, don't attack my kids. That makes me angry." People want you to get angry, so like they're gonna do the thing that causes the crash out to get the hee hee ha ha response. He does not understand that. So that face he's making, you can tell it's like someone just stuck a lemon up his ass. It's just very like do I go off on this guy because he's clearly drunk, or high, or both. And if he doesn't crash out, I'll give him the self-restraint. That's
evidence of this shit. But I did find that at one point you did have success. That originally you did come forward and you had success.
Just imagine him like trying to get your career back. He's trying to been gay and come back for like some time apparently after he deleted his million YouTube channel, subscriber channel. But imagine like some guy who just goes crazy and had like the smallest amount of success and then squandered it, calling your show and be like, "Hey man, I remember when you used to be someone. Not anymore, but you used to have a little something something." Like I would be like, "Cool story, bro," and then just be done with it. Imagine just sitting there and taking like, "Yeah, don't remember when you were like relevant and you actually had success? That was probably a good time for you." Holy shit. If Phil could present with a tenth of the skill of others, then he wouldn't have to beg. Exactly. Like, that's DSP's conundrum. If he was actually good at what he does, like he says he wouldn't have to beg. He begs because he sucks. But then he says he's good because he's successful at begging. I like that, Zern. Two has-beens and never walk into a bar. It's the DSP, RTU, and PWR. It's the three-letter gang.
But I'm interested in asking, what separates you from that other three-lettered brand here?
So,
like, what was it?
He's talking about DSP, by the way. For some reason, like when he talks about DSP, sometimes he calls them the other product. I don't know why.
From you that was able to recognize the transition that he wasn't able to make compared to what you had made?
well, but trust me, Lord knows I've made some fucking mistakes. But because Phil,
We all have, brother. Like, I am literally here doing my Andy Worski on the air, talking to you. We've all made our mistakes, dude. Go on with it.
I've never seen this man this happy. And granted, like I said, I don't really follow RTU much. He's at the end of the end of the end of his career, I feel. I mean, unless he makes a resurgence. There's always hope. There's always a chance. I'm not, maybe Phil will finally, get that razzmatazz and actually do something. I'm not saying it's likely possible or even going to happen, but, this man is, I've seen a few things, and this man is, like, stoked. Yeah.
Phil just does, he doesn't understand Phil, probably because he's a severe narcissist. He doesn't understand that you could say you've changed. You could say a bunch of things, but if you haven't, people see it.
Yes.
And Phil is never wrong. The thing, like, his ego will never die. There's a saying called ego death. Phil's is invincible, which is a problem for him.
I mean, that's crazy because you know what the
Oh, that's a rare insight apparently from RTU here. Phil does have. Well, actually, no. I think it's the opposite. Phil's ego is so fragile that he does protect it a lot, and he's so he's so protective of his ego that should anything ever pierce his ego, I think it'll pop and go. Um, but like the armor that Phil has around his ego is invincible. That'll give him, which is the armor of delusion. Bet this dude is what Phil will look like if Phil ever does his podcast. Right? That is true. And loses all his hair, which if he keeps petting himself, Phil probably will lose all his hair.
Truth is, when I came into this whole PWR thing, I was really ready to celebrate him again. Man, I was a fan like back in like 2010, 2011, and I was like, over the years, I was like, man, I'll check back in and see what he's doing. And I would give him like some bits on Twitch or here and there because I support it. And when him and Ashton started doing the smart guys, like I started donating again. That's how the whole PWR thing, because I wanted to support what I believed in. I was like, man, Phil is doing what I want. He's talking wrestling. He's embracing it. But the truth is, man, you know what?
I'm just going to stop him for just a second to do a lore drop, because I don't think we ever talked about smart guys. Maybe, and Zern says, maybe he puts himself to check if it's still there. That's true. So smart guys at the end of the Kino Casino arc was basically one of the hosts of the Kino Casino, which was PPP, and then Phil or DSP, again, three-letter, anyway, but they would watch wrestling or they would talk about wrestling, but in reality it was just really excuse for PPP to constantly shit on Phil. They had a whole segment called Grill Phil, which was just asking about WWE champions, about his detractors, about his drinking habits, stuff like that. It was literally just a way to kind of get in all these like detractor questions and humiliation rituals and stuff like that. So the fact that this guy liked DSP but couldn't realize that was happening, he was donating during Smart Guys, kind of tickles me a bit.
I'm going to say this. I don't know if you're streaming. I'm streaming. He does not respect his audience, man. He literally is like Gene Simmons fucking doing the,
So when you came in,
holy shit, hallelujah, praise the Lord. PWR realizes that DSP does not respect his audience. Wow. Stop clocks can be right twice a day.
into the limelight because of when you came out and like kind of displayed your love for Phil, was that genuine?
Yeah. Okay, here I will say it in front of the fans right now. Here's what I'll say. It was genuine, but the truth is, dude, I was like, and it's no secret, I was just at a fucking rehab, man. And the truth was, like, I had nothing, like no friends, no girlfriend, no nothing. And Phil, to me, was somebody that I kind of felt like, I don't know, a kinship with. I was like, man, like everybody fucking hates this guy. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking come out and be like, fuck you all. You're all pieces of shit. I like this guy, and I'm going to come forward and I'm going to be like, you know what? Fuck all you pieces of shit. Like, and I donated the money. And I was like,
This is true. This is what happened, or at least again from what I pieced together through all this stuff. Is I didn't know about the whole like he felt kinship with Phil and he did it to bond with Phil. But herein, and this is going to be a little bit more of a little serious part of the conversation. But when you have something like that, and this is part of the reason why Phil is not a good person, nor should he ever be viewed as such, is what we're listening to PWR, and from what I've seen, is that yeah, he did express these feelings of kinship, and he was in the chat, and he was like a pretty stable influence. He donated until it hurt. Again, he got to the point where he literally couldn't get Burger King because he donated his money to Phil on his birthday, on Phil's birthday, and he couldn't get Burger King. But therein lies a very big flaw in the whole thing, where it's, you should not be tying yourself to any personality, even like friends and family. Like, that's your kinship, and then, even then, like, you don't want to make them your entire world, your entire personality. You got to have other things. If you only have a foundation with only one column, will fall. Like, you have to have multiple columns in the foundation of your life. Things that if one of those columns get knocked out, the other ones can help support you in your time of need. I've had times where I only have 1 or 2 columns left because a lot of other ones got knocked out, to the point of, thinking bad thoughts and stuff like that. A lot of what, like, PWR says. And to hang your star on a personality is bad enough, but then to hang it on Phil, who is a opportunistic, narcissistic, allegedly, person who only sees people as piggy banks and wallets, you give that kind of strength, or you give that kind of kinship to Phil, Phil's going to milk you for all you're worth and discard you like a used tissue once he's done with it. He gives 0 fucks, in my opinion, about anyone other than himself. So, you, like, and I'm not saying you can't try and be friendly with streamers and whatnot. Be careful of parasocial relationships, obviously. But, I have people who I talk to on stream and who I'm friendly with, and, say, like, there would be actual, like, friendship there, but I would never be like, Knight, hey man, I need you to give me like $50 right now, because otherwise, like, I wouldn't visit that on that's for someone that's like a close, or I need you to bail me out. That's a better one. Like, Knight, I don't know where you are in the world, but I need you to, like, wire some money and bail me. Like, I'm not visiting that kind of responsibility on Knight, nor would I expect Knight to give that kind of responsibility to me should that situation arise. That's something for, like, my wife, or for, like, one of the people I know who I've known for, like, for ages here. You don't do that to a stranger. And Zern says you need other people to have self-respect. 100%. Knight says Phil would not reciprocate at all. That's also 1,000%. Knight, or you're 100% true. Phil probably didn't even know he existed until he got more popular than him, and then he got angry. Instead of, like, collaborating or trying to, like, build off it, he got mad at his precious ego got bruised, so he banned PWR. He banned even the word. I still think you can't say PWR in Phil's stream. And Zero says discard like a used condom during pre-stream goon session. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's 100% it. So I feel, in all honesty, I feel bad for PWR in that aspect. He just hitched his his cart to the wrong start. Although, to be fair, any internet celebrity, it would probably be a similar result. Please don't use me as, like, a role model or anything like that. I'm just a goofy, draconic saber wolf who likes to entertain people. I try to give good advice. I try to be positive, but I'm a person just like anyone else. I wouldn't expect anyone to be like, we're we have this kinship and we have, like, this strong bond. We do not. And if anyone out there suddenly gets, like, very hurt about that, I apologize. But there's only one person I really bond like that with, and they live with me. So, everyone else, we can be friends, but I'm not, I just, in all honesty, I don't care that much. And that's not being mean about it. It's just, I can't. Everyone only has certain amounts of bandwidth, and I do care to an extent, but, I can't, if you trauma dump on me, I'm not going to process that. Sorry. Like, it's not going to work. Zern's asking, "Are you a person, Mr. Saberwolf?" I'm a creature, actually. It's technically a creature. But let's get back to this and keep rolling on it.
Man, like, I want him to talk wrestling again. I want him to do the WWE. And then, actually, that's where...
By the way, Phil did talk wrestling, and it was terrible. It was like the worst. Like, I don't even know wrestling, and I fucking could tell, like, he was either reading from like a chat GPT or just like some sort of cliff notes from like Reddit or something.
Me and Ashton have heat because I was like, Phil's gonna talk wrestling, but Ashton was turning it into a fucking circus show, and I was pissed off. And that's where
yeah, I did. Again, it was just a means for PvP to grill Phil on stuff.
The PWR character was born. Rich.
So the whole thing with, you know, pro wrestling reality, like the no wife or no ass thing, that was all a facade.
No, I haven't, dude. I'm gonna be honest. I commented, and I'm gonna be honest. I rated that, like, Rich, you came on the air with this woman who showed her tits, and I rated her a 3 out of 10. I'm gonna be honest. I rated her 3 out of 10. But, dude, I have not had sex. I have not been laid. I have not had a girlfriend since 2013. That is like 100% the truth.
100, you okay? Hey, man, that
TMI. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, it sounds so. And this is kind of what's been being revealed as time goes on, is that the whole PWR thing is. Like, he's saying it was a persona, it was all fake, it was... I don't buy it. I think there's a bit of buyer's remorse for a lot of stuff. I think he's just trying to, like, pivot to whatever he can. I think there's a lot of, like... I think there's a lot of truth, and then he tries to, like, make it a lie in order to, like, get back with Phil or something else. I think that very first... That Burger King boy who just wanted a Whopper or a Roadhouse burger or whatever it was, that was the real PWR. And then I think now that he had his touch of fame and whatnot, he's trying to like pull a Phil and like mold this persona. But the problem is he's not, well, it's not really a problem except for him, but he's not Phil. He's not good at manipulation. He's not good at begging. So Knight says, yep, he's an incel. Yeah, pretty much.
I don't. God bless you.
No, I mean, it is a challenge, and I mean, the truth is, I mean, I love streaming. I love what I do here. I mean, we're watching wrestling. I'm snorting some Andy Worski here. I'm snorting some Andy.
Oh, why are you putting nose candy up your nose, dude? What are you doing?
Well, we don't know what that really is. I'm just saying some names here, but no, I
in case it wasn't like blatantly obvious, he's talking about cocaine. So, the other host of the Kino Casino, Worski, was a cocaine addict up until like 3 years ago. He got clean though, and I will take a little bite out of this to say, you know, I'm always appreciative of a turn back, you know, kid or a redemption arc, and if that's true, and he is clean for 3 years, the Saberwolf Cafe says that is awesome, and please keep on the road to recovery.
Just wanted to call you because, you know, I'm going to say this, and it sucks because I have a lot of fans that don't like you. I did. You know what the truth is, man? Dude, listen. I did a whole dude, I spent a whole night, up all night, researching you.
Well, cocaine will do that. It will keep you up all night. Also, I missed this one, but Zern says 3 out of 10. She doesn't feel his interest enough. Yeah. He wants something different. He wants the king snake. He doesn't want no boobies. He wants that thick snake.
And I could not find any actual evidence in this shit that people say.
No
shit.
Say,
you blinded your daughter. You like, can you speak to that? We have an audience here, dude. Like on.
Okay. Seriously though, Zern says, seriously though, cocaine explains so much about PWR. No way it meshes with the meds he won't take. Oh, 100%. You're mixing stimulants and well, he drinks too, so you're mixing stimulants and depressants and antipsychotics or SSRIs or whatever he's taking. That shit's either gonna throw it all out of whack, or it's going to negate, or it's not going to interact well. Most of those say you can't drink at all when you take those kind of pills, so no wonder he's not on it. And now you can see, like, RTU is getting much more upset about PWR just keeping on the whole, like, blinded by the daughter things. You know, I think we're getting pretty close. I think he might crash out a little bit. Oh, Knight says, well, he'd be disappointed by the king snakes. More like a shriveled word. Probably.
Honestly.
Shriveled like his arms. His noodle arms.
Can you speak to that? Because that is the truth, man. I didn't know about you, man. I knew Phil. I did not know RTU. But I had all these people that were like, oh, RTU blinded his daughter. He did.
Yeah, okay. I saw that coming.
All right, great conversation. I'm not sitting there with a guy who's coked up going like, you brought, wait, hold, did he? Yo, man, people keep bringing up Lauren. Can I just say something?
Please don't. Please, like, don't do it, man. You're just gonna feed the trolls more ammo. Like, you had it. You had the perfect ending. Just, you said he was coked up. You didn't want to deal with him anymore. Just, that's it. Don't do it. I feel like he's gonna do it.
Your PWR.
Also, like, he's almost about to cry.
I don't want to talk about my significant other with you. I don't want you talking shit about them. And I don't want to go over shit about my kids. I don't care if you're PWR. I don't care if you're Jesus Christ. Like, I'm not sitting there having a story talking about my daughter's illness with you. Come on, man. That's silly shit.
He's trying to call him again.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, he's trying to call him again.
I was getting bored anyway.
Well, yeah, he was coked up
like,
out of his
right,
mind.
You know what?
I will give, and like, again, I don't know too much about RTU. There's terrible things that he's done, or he's just boring or whatever. But like, you know, like that was actually a pretty decent way of sending it off. Like, again, you're going to give the trolls more ammo. It probably would have been better to say nothing, but you know, I give him a W that it's something they want to talk about, so he didn't talk about it. So I'll give him a small W. He shouldn't have said it. He kind of turned that W into an L when he started, you know, kind of pontificating on it. But you know, it's something that I've seen in a couple of like smaller videos of this, where he's remarkably thin-skinned about it, and I get it. I do get it. You don't want, like, if you were talking shit about K, I probably wouldn't want to talk about it. But you know what I do? I just wouldn't talk about it. You know, and most of the time I don't care. Zern says, okay, but Jesus, maybe I count of being willing to heal the sick for free. There you go. He made people unblind before. You could totally do that. But that was a nice little, well, I don't know about nice, but that was the PWR, DSP, RTU. I know DSP wasn't in it, but that was the main topic of conversation. So it was a big old mashup. I hope you enjoyed that. Once more, shout out to Lord Diaz for that clip. If you like what you saw, make sure you make like a werewolf and like and subscribe. If we get to 100 subs, I'll do the DSP tries that, the protein bar challenge that DSP denied his audience, even though they clamored for it. They wanted it. And let's get to 1,000 subs on YouTube, and we can start monetizing this bitch. So, till then, I hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one. Until then, take care.